job is to copy and paste this vertical tube. If we have a look, this is what we made first, and now we're going to copy and paste this one. And when we've done that, we're going to make some changes to this hole here. So it's the vertical tube. That hole here is 140 mil from the bottom, but on the horizontal tube it's actually 130. So we'll make an adjustment on that as well. Okay, so place your cursor on the vertical tube folder. You can see the body is highlighted to tell you that you've selected the correct folder. Right click or two finger click on a Mac. Copy. Place your cursor on that top folder. Right click, two finger click. Don't paste, but we're going to paste new. It's going to paste a new component for you. There's a slight difference. I won't talk about that now, but I want you to paste new. Alright, there's your new folder. It says vertical tube. We'll change that to say horizontal in a minute. And we have our move copy dialog box, and we have these grips that enable us to move the copy. The copy is sitting straight on top of the original one, okay? And I'll show you that in a second. If we just use this grip here, click and then spin. So now you can see there's this, that's our second copy, our copy that we're moving, and you can see the original sitting there. Use this grip now and spin. We'll go 180. We flip around using this view cube. Use the front view. Use this arrow. Click and drag up. Just to zoom out a bit. Zoom back in. Use this arrow now. And we can get pretty close. But here's another method for positioning this exactly as you would like. At the moment we're using the free move command. If we use point to point, see we were doing this one, but I want you to try point to point. I'm just going to orbit around. You should always do this. If you're doing something detailed and accurate, you should always zoom in. Press escape to get out of orbit. So using point to point, if you just click on that point there, that one, and this point here, this little blue line showing you that it's going to join up to that. So I'm going to click on that, and there it is. So that's a nice way of, I'll just go okay, of moving things accurately into position. Activate this. There it is. So we're looking pretty good. Now you can see that hole there, it's quite close to this join, so I want to move it 10 mil, it needs to be 130 mil from this end here. Okay, so if I put my cursor on this folder, you can see how it's highlighting that now, and I activate it, because this is the component I want to play with. I need to make an adjustment on. You may or may not have noticed, but down the bottom there are these icons, and these represent all the things that we have been doing. We did a sketch, we did an extrusion. There's the first hole, second large hole. That was the first small hole, and that was the second small hole. We did a sketch and then a cut, and that was for the angle. So this hole here and that small one we need to adjust. So put your cursor on that first hole icon. If you right click, you can go edit feature. So I'm going to do that. Now don't be confused by the position. This is just going back to the first instance of that hole being made, and that was on that first component. But this is the measurement we want to change. It needs to be 130, and it is only going to change it on the copy, not the original. So I'm going to go OK. You can see there actually it's just moved 10 mil, so that's good. Go OK. So yeah, that has moved. I don't know if you can tell, but it did. Actually, if I click on that bottom, Now you can see it has moved compared to this one. If I flip around and look at this one, that's remained the same, so we're good. Now I want to move that small hole also. That's the screw hole for the screws to go through. And that small hole was that one there. You can see it highlighting. So I'm going to go right click, edit feature. Again, it's flipped round to its the place it was originally made, and we just need to change the 140 to say 130. And then go OK. So now if I spin around, have a look, go to the bottom view, it's perfectly lined up. Right, happy days, that's what we want. That's faded out because this tube here is activated. If I just do that, it highlights the whole thing. Now this, we want to change that also. So if you triple click 1, 2, 3, you can rename it. And then hit enter. Last thing to do now is to make the wooden shelf. So activate. Let's just go check the measurements. 400 by 250. So I've activated the wood shelf. First thing to do is to draw a rectangle, the shape of the wooden shelf. So we need the sketch command, and we're not going to sketch on a sketch plane. We're actually going to put our cursor on that top surface of that tube. So we're going to, it's as if we're going to draw the shelf on top of that tube. You can see you could actually draw it anywhere. You could draw it on any of those faces. It picks up all the places that you could be drawing. So we want to draw on here. So I'm going to click on that face. If you get this message, just press capture position. So now it's ready to draw on there. I'm just going to make sure I'm sort of lined up nicely. Rectangle tool. If I just zoom in a bit, if I touch that corner, that's where I want the shelf to start. Now I can just click, take my finger off the button, move the cursor. I could even, I'm just going to bring it out something like this. It doesn't have to be the exact measurement. Now I'm going to type in 250. I'm going to go tab 400 and then enter. Now if you got these measurements wrong, you could always just double click and you could fix them. So I'm going to make that 250. Enter. And I just want to line this up so it's in the middle. So the middle, I'm going to use dimension tool. From that point, well, to the edge of the steel bracket, I believe is 175, which are going to center it up. If you put in those measurements, that'll get it how we want it. And when you're happy with the alignment of that sketch, we can just go finish sketch. Now, this is good this has happened, because this will confuse you. The sketch has disappeared. So it hasn't actually disappeared, it's just not visible. We do have it still. So hit this arrow, open up your folder, and you can see that that eyeball is being turned off. So if you turn that on, it'll turn the sketch folder on, and actually your sketch is inside that folder. There it is there. So if you turn that off, it turns off the sketch. You'd also turn it off here if you wanted. There's a setting to stop that from happening, so we may have to go and change that back at school. Just going to hit home. So now we just want to extrude it. Fusion's quite clever, too clever sometimes. It's picking up enclosed shapes, so you think it might just pick up the rectangle, but it's picking up anything that's a continuous edged shape. So this is one, but then you have to make sure you go and click all the other bits. That's another piece of it. There's a bit, and there's a bit. Okay, so now we're going to extrude that whole rectangle. Grab that, and it's actually 20mm thick timber. Enter. Nearly there. Last thing to do is to make this look like wood. So if you go modify appearance, if you scroll down, there's a whole lot of these folders. There's another scroll bar there. You could paint it whatever you want. You can make it metal, but this is the wood folder. Just use that scroll bar to view the other folders. Perhaps finished means it has a clear coat on it. Most of these here looks like you have to download it, but I'll just very quickly use this one. So you click and drag onto the component. Now that blue line, that is the sketch which we had turned on, so I'm actually going to hide that because that makes it look a bit better. And activate the whole folder. Go to the home view. Just orbit, just to check it. So that's pretty good. I'm going to post some more videos for experts, and what we're going to do is some hard stuff, like put a cap on the end like we did in the workshop. We welded a cap on the end of there, and I'm also going to make a little nameplate for those of you that managed to do that, and you punch letters into your name. We're going to do some engraving, so we're going to make another component for that. But otherwise, if you can get this far, congratulations, good on you, and that's really good for year 10, being able to model a multi-component CAD model, using some different tools like the hole tool, push-pull, and adding some materials. Okay, thanks.